What's going on? I'm Dustin and welcome to the Week 10 Waiver Wire edition of Fantasy Smack Talk. Let's get right into the must-adds. We're going to start with Liddell Betts. He's going to be the most added player this week. Only owned in about 10% of leagues, but with Portis going down with the injury, looks like he's going to miss Week 10, maybe Week 11. Betts is going to be given a chance. We still think Portis' job is safe, but if Betts blows up, he could see more carries from here on out. Next is Jamal Charles with Larry Johnson officially being shipped out of Kansas City. Someone's got to get the touches out there. We think Charles is going to get the most. If he's still available for some reason, pick him up now. He's only owned in about 50% of leagues, surprisingly. Now, Colby Smith, we do think is going to get involved as well. So in deeper leagues, go ahead and pick up Smith and see how many touches he's going to get. Now, as far as Larry Johnson, he's going to have to land into the most perfect situation possible for him to even have any fantasy relevance from the rest of the year. So I wouldn't take a gamble on him, but in the deepest of leagues, if you have the roster spot, you might want to pick him up and just see where he ends up. But we don't think the odds are very good for him to have much relevance. Next, we got McFadden. Looks like he's going to come back Week 10. Not sure exactly how many touches he's going to get with Fargus out there playing well, but he's worth adding just to see what happens. Next is Maroney. He's had a touchdown in each of the last 3 games. He's still only owned in about 60% of leagues, so go ahead and add Maroney. Even when everyone's healthy out there, we think Maroney is going to be the featured back, but who knows with the Patriots, it's always hard to tell. Moving down, we got 2 defensive players that we think are must-adds in certain leagues. Ladarius Webb, at this point, is a must-add in individual defensive players that count return yards. We talked about him last week, and he looks like he's getting involved in the actual defense a lot more. He had 7 tackles on Sunday, and he had every single one of the kick returns for the Ravens. Must add for Webb, like I said, in individual defensive player leagues that count return yards. Next is Hawthorne, linebacker for Seattle. In the last 2 games, he's had 2 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 17 tackles. He's taken advantage of the Tutufu injury, and he's playing really well. Must add in individual defensive player leagues. All right, now we got a few defenses for you here. First one is Miami against Tampa Bay. Miami is the pickup of the week for defense. They should have a good game. They're only on about 50% of leagues. Next is Buffalo versus Tennessee. We like their chances. Buffalo's been getting a lot of turnovers this year, so we think Buffalo has a good chance of putting up some defensive numbers. They're only on about 30% of leagues. And Oakland against Kansas City, we don't really mind this matchup if you're desperate. If your defense has a bye or you really hate their matchup, Oakland's owning less than 10% of leagues. We don't mind that matchup. All right, now some guys to add in some deeper leagues. Sean Green, only on about 35% of leagues at this point. He was dropped going into last week because they had the bye week. But we do think Sean Green's going to have some value and going to get some touches from here on out. Go ahead and pick him up and just see how many he's going to get. Next is Earl Bennett. He's probably been picked up and dropped in every single league at this point, but he's only owned in 20% of leagues as of now. He had a good game on Sunday. We do think he's going to be a consistent receiver. He's not going to put up huge numbers, but he's going to be a good guy to spot start and give you some receiver depth on your bench. Now, I do want to take a second to talk about Chris Chambers. A lot of people are picking him up right now, but if it wasn't for his 2 touchdown catches that came during garbage time on Sunday's game in the last 3 minutes, no one would be talking about him right now. We're not sold on Chambers. He might have a couple good games here and there, but we would steer clear from him unless it's in the deepest of leagues. One quarterback worth adding in deep 1 quarterback leagues and all 2 quarterback leagues is Josh Freeman. Everyone saw what he did on Sunday, his first start as a rookie. Played really well. We think he is a must-add in 2 quarterback leagues. And last guy I want to talk about is Amon Green. Packers brought the old man in. He had 55 total yards, and he had 2 kick returns, which was surprising as well. We're not sure exactly how many touches he's going to get moving forward, but in deeper leagues that count return yards, you might want to pick up Amon Green and just see what he does from here on out. This is just a portion of the Week 10 waiver wire list. See the full list, go on to fantasysmacktalk.com and click on Week 10 waiver wire. It'll be on the home page. That'll be up Tuesday night. Brent and I will be back later on in the week. Until then, I'm Dustin, and we'll see you in the forums.